Whoa. We're playing Team Assault. Holy shit. This is one of the worst Army Men games. Arguably the worst in the entire series, in my opinion, in terms of coding, level design, effort. You get the idea. Why am I playing it? Consistency, probably, and insanity. I'm not sure which. But I figured if we play Army Men 3D, I might as well play another game from my childhood that, technically I like. uh, Man, that laugh was very much the sound of someone's holding a gun to my head telling me to laugh. But I really did enjoy this game as a kid because I did only own Army Men 3D, Sergeant's Heroes 2, Green Rogue, and this game. So, to me, and I also had Turf Wars on the GBA, which I still own to this day. Um, but this was one of them that I was like, okay, we'll pick this up. I actually got this at Toys R Us when it came out. Um, and this is actually the last game in the World War series of Army Men games. There's also the Army Men series, which is 1 through 3. And then you have World War, which has World War. Then it has Land, Sea, Air, Final Front, and Team Assault is the last game in the series of that. And there's also Sergeant's Heroes 1 that was released on the PS1 and 2. And then there was also Air Attack 1 and 2. Now, technically, this is the last PS1 game in the Army Men series. I don't count the ports of Green Rogue and Sergeant's Heroes 2 because those are so watered down. They really weren't designed for that console, so in my opinion, this is the last of the mainstay PS1 Army Man games, and it really fucking shows. There's absolutely no intro cinematic, no FMVs, no... There's not even music in this game, and no, it's not an emulator issue. We are playing this on ePSXe, but this is obviously my real disc that I've had since forever. And I love how when you open the game up in like your CD drive, it actually opens up a folder called Dead. And no, it's not the Singer of Mayhem. That would be pretty cool. This game is not like that. But it's like, that should really tell you the state of the series at this point. I don't know what's in the files. I don't have anything to rip them and figure out what they are. But that should really tell you what it was. It was very much dying. This is a long episode because we're going level by level. But, so Team Assault was basically the last hurrah. I'm going to turn it down just a bit because this game is pretty loud. We're playing on normal. But this is the last game in the Team Assault, sorry, the World War series. It shows. Thank God, too. This was made in 2001, and by that point the PS2 had already kind of floated out. I think the PS2 came out in 2000. I can't remember entirely, but it doesn't matter. This was basically a dead product. I don't remember how much I paid for this because I got it at Toys R Us. They used to have those little like stickers you'd take over to like the electronics section, and then they'd hand you the game. So I don't have any price tag on the game or how much I paid for it. Probably, if I'm guessing, it was $35 because that's about how much most games used to cost back then. But yeah, I never finished this game as a kid. I actually didn't finish it till I was about 17 or 18, and I think it was with a friend. We were just bored. So, this game's fucking hard. All the Army Men games are fucking hard for various reasons, all of which are very different. But this one is actually very forgiving combat-wise, but it's very difficult mechanically. So, the main gimmick, of course, is it's a team assault. So, let's go to two-player mode. What do we have? Fucking deathmatch and capture the flag. Now, I will say right now, capture the flag is kind of tits, because it has, like, you play two different teams and you set up, like, your own army guys, and it's kind of cool. But grudge match is basically deathmatch. There's no two-player campaign, which is very strange, obviously. So that's already a huge shaft in the ass, because the game was marketed as a multiplayer game. And I think you actually had to own a DualShock controller, which I had at this point in time. I don't have the actual original DualShock we used to use. That thing's long gone. It's toast. But I think you had to use DualShock for this. because I think at that point they were becoming more common. I actually own ePSXe, which was the first game to require both usage of the sticks to play the game, and that was why we bought a DualShock in the first place. So, a little history story on my end, I guess. But Team Assault is, the gimmick is you have a team, which we'll get into in a minute. So, this game is not good. I will wholeheartedly admit it, and you might be thinking, why are you playing it then? Probably because I'm crazy, and also because completion and... I don't know, I actually kind of enjoy the Army Man series because it's really shitty. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and call ourselves, something... Pooeen. Good enough. I don't feel like spelling. So, you remember those really cool, cheesy FMVs? Yeah, those are fucking gone. They don't exist in this game. And by the way, Sarge's Heroes had been out before, which already had a fun, comical tone. This game just doesn't have a tone. It's just dead. So, maybe that's why it says dead in the entire files. But, the story. Let me put my good reading voice on here. Your Green Army team has just escaped from the TAM POW camp. Acquire weapons and rendezvous at the bridge. So, that's about it. That's all you need to know. So, the new mechanics in this game, and yes, there is actual mechanics to this game that is slightly different than the other Army Man games. It runs off the World War engine, so it's mechanically the same, but some differences. Number one, you can't pivot. And now you're probably like, what the fuck does that mean? Which I'll get into later. So, get used to that. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. So we have all these different characters, right? So we've got Shadow, Tyke, Squirrel, Boomer, Dante, and Arm & Hammer. I'm just going to call him Arm & Hammer because I like it. I've always thought his character portrait was the most unsettling because he looks like an actual person. Everyone else looks kind of fake and goofy, but he looks real. Like, that looks like some, like, mugshot or some shit. I don't know. So, anyways, they all have different stats. When I was a kid, by the way, I called Shadow Ex-Hado, and I thought that was the coolest fucking thing ever, because he's supposed to be wearing a balaclava. But it looks like he's just got a gigantic mustache. Also, in the manual, if I remember correctly, that there's, like, no information of him. It's just, like, all question marks or something in there. There's also, like, I used to call Squirrel Squirrel, because I just didn't think that that was a real name. And, of course, we got OK Boomer, Dante's Inferno. I have nicknames for all these guys. I used to call Tyke Tyka for some reason. But, you'll see that we have different skills in their dog tags. So I'll say right now, I don't think stealth actually matters in this game. It's just kind of a loose mechanic. I'm not really sure it ever comes up. But you can see there's a little wrench and a sharpshooter sign. Crosshair, I guess. So Shadow can use a sniper rifle, and he can fix things. Armand can use a telecom and blow shit up. Boomer's a linguist. We need a linguist and a mechanic. So I'm going to be switching over to Tyke and Shadow. So the main characters you're going to be using in this game are going to be Shadow, because objectively, his HP is better than, like... Well, actually, come to think of it, they're not that much different between him and Squirrel. But Squirrel's the fastest character, but technically, because he can use a sniper rifle, which I'll get into in a minute too, this is one of the best characters in the game. Tyke has the most HP, which I can't really notice, but for the most part I'll use him or Armand. So these are the main two characters you're going to be using in the game. So even though you need two skills only, it's good to have like a heavy weapons guy and a sniper. So I can tell you right off the bat, Squirrel's a sniper, but the comm usage, I can tell you right now, you only use that twice in the entire game. Once in, like, the next two levels, and the very, very last time in the game. That's it. So, other than that, you're going to be mainly wanting to use Tyke and Shadow. They're the bomb. They're the dream team. They're the boys, okay? So, let's get into it. And be prepared for this high-octane fucking cutscene we're going to watch here really quick. Trust me, it's intense. Hot damn, I'm so hard after that. So, yeah, let that sink in. So, let's pause the game. So that Sasquatch-looking blob there in the corner is actually a tan soldier. I'm not going to let him wander off very far, because he'll actually turn around and shoot me over time. But, so yeah, the gimmick of this game is we have 2 soldiers, right? Now, that's the story. That's all you need to know, okay? There's no bullshit, there's no grays, there's no blues, there's no reds, there's no orange. It's just tan and green, and that's it. There's no other nations we explore. We're just basically invading the tan homeland, I guess, but we already did that in one of the games, which was in World War, I thought, but it doesn't matter. So, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's go ahead and switch over to Ex-Hado, as I call them, and we don't have a gun yet. We have to fucking backstab a dude and get a gun. So, this is the main game. Like I said, if you've played any of the Army Man games in the World War series, this should be very familiar. So, also, notice there's no tan guys in here anymore. Just, no one cares, apparently. Also, there's green tents for some reason. I don't know either. So yeah. Like all Army Men games, we can roll. This is the main primary movement in the entire series, probably. You know, play it like it's Dark Souls, okay? Just roll everywhere, alright? Plus frames and all that shit, right? So we can also lay down. You can have a seizure. And then we can't aim anymore. Now that's why I said you want to get a sniper sniper character like Shadow or Squirrel, because we cannot manually aim. We can only do this fucking weird, awkward, like, jank pose. So being able to freely aim is great. Sniper rifles are really common in most of the levels too. So we can switch weapons. We got a knife. We can stand here and fucking at people, which is kind of a damn shame. I actually like the bayonet more, but this makes sense because we don't have any tools. So anyways, now you can also walk and do our little sexy strut if we want to, and little side to sides, and we can also do our dance. So, however, notice one thing we can't do. So we can no longer pivot. So the circle button is basically just going to switch between characters. Now, visually between the two, there really isn't a huge difference. Tyke is obviously a giant dude, apparently. He's a fucking Sasquatch among army men. So, this is the problem, immediately. This is not a two-player game. So, when we want to play as Tyke, we have to hit, like, I almost said B, Jesus Christ. So we have to hit circle. Now, Tyke is a slow fucker. So, look how fast Shadow is comparatively. So you can see what I mean. Speed is more important than anything in this game. So, but obviously Tyke can take more bullets. God damn, look at that ass. Anyways, so if you're in, like, combat, you're getting shot at and you back up and you do something, you gotta go use another character. If this guy's just there, they're just gonna, like, sit there and try and defend themselves very poorly, but they won't move. They're just gonna stay like that forever, okay? So, like, if we just go over here, I don't see Tyke, he's gone. So he's out of sight, out of mind, but enemies can still shoot at him, and he'll try to shoot at them as well. Just keep your partner ducked somewhere. It's not really worth it to have them follow you that close. So, also another advantage as well, I can't read this language, because apparently that's really hard. It says restricted, I can read it in plain English here. So we can blow that up and get some grenades, but I don't need that shit. I'm a man, okay? So, in terms of combat, I'd say that this is actually the most balanced, probably, of all the Army Men games. It only takes one bullet to kill enemies in this one, which is why I said the only difference between difficulty is how many bullets you actually can shoot out of your gun. If you put it on hard, you just shoot one bullet at a time, which is actually how Land, Sea, and Air has its combat as well. So, it doesn't matter. You don't really need to worry too much about it. I think Easy lets you do the classic Army Men 3D style, where you just kind of like burst fire as fast as humanly possible. So, there's also a minefield in this area, but there's no fucking point in going through it. If you're going through the minefield, there's no reason. So this is just a kind of combat experience to get yourself familiar. Med bags obviously give you health back. It's not that complicated. And like I said, we can't freely aim anymore, so now we have to actually rely on solely auto-aiming or using a sniper rifle, which is not that great if you ask me personally. So the only problem I have with this game really is it's fucking hard. And also new to it is destructible objects like that. Those can hurt you, by the way. So we can go ahead and repair the Jeep. And of course, I can't leave my partner behind. Now, if there was enemies in the area, I'd actually have him, like, behind a rock or something, because you do not want to have your other dude in, like, fucking plain sight. It's a really easy way, because, by the way, if your partner dies or you die, it's game fucking over, okay? It's not cool. So we don't really need to pick these up, but, you know, like in other Army Man games, we've got grenades. If you use one, you can hit the button again and actually cancel it. I love to point that out because I see a lot of online communities say that you can't cancel it, and that's just not true. So I'm not a connoisseur of these games, but I do know what I'm talking about, I guess. So once we have our partner in here, we can actually paint the fucking thing green. And then hot damn, God, it feels so loud. It is so loud on my end, it's unbelievable. But, so yeah, we can blow up this Jeep. If you don't, the Jeep will actually just kind of fuck you up. I think you can probably go through here without doing this, but I really don't recommend it. Also, what really burns me the most about this game is it's so small. But I hate how your health bar is the compass, or like that little ring down there. I guess it's supposed to be a compass. Like, in the other games, you actually had your health bar as the little plastic man. I like that a lot more. It's just more charming, I guess. Sorry to just hear this as a health bar, but I don't know, man. There's something just so charming about that little design. That's something I always like about the series. I know it goes away by land, sea, air, but you know, while we had it, it was cute. So, also, I am playing this on overclock, so it's a lot smoother. Trust me, doing this would actually completely fuck the frame rate up on the original PS1. And the reason I know that, I've done it a million times. So, alright, we don't need to use the Jeep, I don't think, but use it anyways. By the way, it controls itself, it's not me doing it. Tyke, what the fuck? I didn't actually shoot that. He did that himself. So, whatever, man. And trust me, not being able to pivot really puts me off. So, well done, men. That's the, let that be the tone, because it's going to get way worse from here. So I'll see you guys in the next one. And by the way, if you think, is Seth really just bullshit and good at these games? I play each one twice, so that's how I know what I'm doing. So I'll see you in the next one.